Minister, Veterinary Ireland says mink and fur farms do not have a life worth living in any way. As solitary, wild, semi-aquatic creatures, packing mink in groups into metal cages is alien and unnatural. For that reason, they say it's impossible to regulate the fur trade and to make it somehow kinder, because it's not farming at all. The mink are then gassed at 6 months and their skins pulled off. Now, country after country is either phasing out or has banned the fur farming. Don't have time to list them all. The United Kingdom, Austria, the Netherlands, Croatia, Slovenia, Norway, Czech Republic, Luxembourg, Belgium, Macedonia, Serbia, Bosnia, Germany, Denmark, Sweden are all in the process or have agreed to ban fur farming, even Japan, New Zealand and others outside the EU. In the last 3 years, every major fashion house has gone fur-free, including Prada just days ago. 80% of people in Ireland and Red Sea poll believe fur farming should be banned. They see it as cruel, backward and barbaric, all for the sake of a luxury product that most people will never see and nobody really needs. And it's a real example of capitalism willing to disregard life and welfare for pure profit. Now, Minister, on the 3rd of July, Solidarity is due to table our Prohibition of Fur Farming bill. The bill has received widespread support both at home and abroad. And I want to thank the ISPCA, activists at NARA, the Fur Free Alliance, the Irish Council Against Blood Sports and many others who've lobbied intensely on this issue. Fianna Fáil, Sinn Féin, Labour, Independents for Change, the Greens and Social Democrats and of course Solidarity and People for Profit have all said they support a ban. The only question now, Minister, is what is the stance of Fine Gael? Is Fine Gael now the only party in the Dáil standing in the way of ending this animal cruelty? Now, in 2005, Fine Gael was in favour of banning fur farming. And your TDs, including you, Minister, voted to do so. That bill fell, and unfortunately nothing was done in the intervening 14 years by yourselves to ban it. Now this is your opportunity. So based on the figures, the bill will pass. That leaves the government with 3 options as I see it. Number 1, you break with what you believed in 2005 and you're the only party to vote for fur farming and for maintaining it and voting against our bill, or you agree to support our bill, or, knowing that it must pass now, based on the figures, the government can decide not to waste valuable time, both for the animals themselves and for the Dáil agenda, and it can ban fur farming through a ministerial order. Are you willing, Minister, to take the initiative to talk to the Taoiseach, to talk to Minister Creed, to make a ministerial order to the Animal Health and Welfare Act, either Section 11 or Section 36, and outlaw fur farming? Of course, there has to be time given. There has to be discussion about alternative industry or agribusiness, and of course alternative employment for the 47 or so registered employed, mainly seasonal workers, Minister, please. On the 3 remaining fur farms. Minister, are you willing now, Minister, to do the right thing? Another opportunity. Minister, to respond.
Yeah, I regret to say that I haven't seen a copy of the bill that you're proposing, and it hasn't been presented yet to government. But I can assure you that when the bill is presented to government, it will get the proper attention that it deserves. I know that you obviously feel very strongly about this issue. I know also that there has been a great effort to tighten up regulation in respect of many aspects of cruelty to animals, in respect of farming and other activities. And the government will undoubtedly assess the proposals that you bring forward, but it would be foolish of me to try to, not having been briefed on the issues involved, to try to anticipate the response of government to the bill that you have developed.
Supplementary question, same time.
I have to say that's a really disgraceful answer. That bill was moved many months ago. I think every TD in this Dáil has received numerous emails about it. For you to say that you haven't seen it, it's a repeat of the bill that you voted for in 2005, Minister. The exact same. Now, your options are, and I'm giving you time, you have 19 days left to think before we move our bill, do you go and be a laggard in terms of animal rights, which Ireland currently is, or do you agree to support the bill, or do you actually do what you did with the circus animals, which Solidarity had a bill pending on that issue, and the Minister moved with a ministerial order to ban wild animals in circuses. And at the time, Minister Creed, in November 2017, said, "This is the general view of the public at large, and this is a progressive move reflective of our commitment to animal welfare." The exact same applies to mink and fur farming, because 80% of people believe it to be wrong, and it is thoroughly backward, and there is no justification for it existing.
Thank you.
And the farms themselves are hardly making a profit at this point. So do the right thing now, Minister. You didn't do it for 14 years.
Respond. Minister Bruton.
I think that this House has set up procedures to deal with ideas that come forward from members, and it is about taking the opportunity to have serious consideration. An issue like this would have to be considered by Cabinet to take a collective view on the issue, and I think that's only reasonable. Every other bill that comes forward, be it accepted or rejected, that's the approach we take. You don't expect without giving any notice on Leader's question to expect me to have consulted with other members of the Cabinet and come back with a collective view of how a particular bill is going to be handled. I don't think that's a reasonable expectation. Your proposals, like any other deputy's proposals, has to be taken seriously. We have to evaluate them against all the criteria that Cabinet is obliged to consider when considering issues such as this. So I'm not seeking to stonewall. I'm just saying that this has to be considered by Cabinet in the normal way, and it will be assessed on its merits, and that's all I can assure the deputy.
Independent for Change, Deputy Thomas.